I think the execs of all three companies should be fired. Are you the reason why Path of Exile was bad this league? Is Diablo 4 or Last Epoch actually going to take over the mantle if Path of Exile doesn't turn around? We'll check this out, this video. Rightio, as you can see, it's 30 hours and some minutes until Season 4 launch. So we're going to check out the recently released Last Epoch trailer, teaser trailer, and we're also going to check out the Diablo 4 Loot Reborn video and see whether we think those seasons to come are going to actually be better than Path of Exile and keep players going back to it instead of staying with Path of Exile. So, first, we'll check out the teaser trailer from Last Epoch because I haven't heard a single wink about it. Okay, everything should be ready to go. Just before we get into this, do you think that everyone's expectation for Path of Exile Necropolis was too high and that's why it was bad? It was just flat out bad, or a combination of everything put together? So let's have a look at Last Epoch and see whether this will make us go, oh, we can't wait till it comes out.
Do you realize what you've done, traveler? Do you know what you've unleashed? Ruin approaches.
Some pinnacle boss stuff.
You know what?
Okay, we just have a look at some things as it goes.
Do you realize what you've done?
Now, is that just a statute, or are they going to revamp the Sentinel?
Traveler.
Okay, that's a monolith sort of area.
Do you know what you've unleashed?
Okay, monolith, that's the end of time. That's the dragon that's flying around. So they revamped the end of time, made it look more homely, person to talk to and stuff. So at this point, it's not all that. This sort of stuff and the dodge roll and everything is intriguing. The boss mechanic looks a lot simpler. See, a lot of this stuff looks very familiar to other games, which obviously it's hard to come up with a complete original thing. Void spheres and all that, and puddles and balls. So a lot of mechanic stuff.
Approaches.
I'm guessing they took the advice of people and added a league mechanic sort of thing. But unfortunately, doesn't make me any more confident that they finished the last 3 chapters. If they haven't finished the last 3 chapters, then someone should be fired. Because they should have been out with the launch, but they weren't done. They wanted to finish them off and get them perfect. If they haven't got it by the... come on. Just so we don't mistake the dates. July 9th. Then someone should be fired. Because the game is still not complete. The pinnacle bosses will help complete the game end game wise. If they don't have the chapters finishing off the campaign, then they can't say they have released the game. And what would that be? February 21st, I want to say, was the release date. So give or take 6 months, maybe 5 months, after a 3-4 year promising the game. So unfortunately, it's intriguing enough that if you like the game, you'll want to check it out. But as a teaser trailer, it's, considering they released it May 11 to me, that's the date I have on the release, and they knew that Diablo 4 season was coming to May 14 for everyone, and depending on your time zone, for me it's May 15, like 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. It doesn't make me want to go, oh, I'll just wait for this. It actually leaves me wanting more, but not necessarily to go play it and find out more. So that's actually underwhelming. I'm disappointed. Hopefully sound and everything is all good.
Season 4 is going to be the biggest update we have ever made to Diablo 4 since it has launched.
Our focus on Season 4 is to really make a lot of evergreen updates to the core systems of Diablo 4.
In Season 4, we're ramping the intensity across the seasonal and eternal realms through a collection of new activities aimed at...
Just stopping it there because that is a marketing rubbish statement. I'll explain. They're updating the seasonal and eternal realm stuff and trying to act like that's new. Except for the seasonal mechanic, everything they have done in season and eternal. Like all the bosses and all that came in. People were defeating the bosses in eternal because they mucked up the season launch. So that's just marketing mumbo jumbo, which means that Microsoft might be going the way of Minecraft and just doing a little magic trick. Oh, look, all these new people that don't know what's happening is going to be talking big about it. Everyone who knows what they're saying won't. They rely on targeting kids, pretty much, Microsoft. That's why Minecraft still is as big as it is. They target kids.
Ensuring the moment-to-moment gameplay experience is as exciting and rewarding when how it comes to Sanctuary.
Season 4 item changes are some of the biggest changes we've made to Diablo 4 thus far.
We've never done anything like this. We are fundamentally changing how you engage with items, how you upgrade them, and along the way solving a lot of things that we've seen continually from our community we agree with are pain points of our existing item system right now.
So in this new itemization system, we're focusing on narrowing down the scope of the base affixes. They're going to be a lot simpler, they're going to be fewer in number, so you can much more easily parse whether this item is useful for you, and if it is, then you can take it and further upgrade it and customize it to your own specific build.
Now, obviously, the community has been pretty much memeing them about the amount of different mods and stuff on the weapons and the amount of rubbish you can just pick up. They did not do this because they agree it was a pain point, I think is what the specific term was. I believe they actually fought against it. Like a lot of their core things, it was, this is how we're doing it. Get on board. Oh, you really hate it? Okay, we'll tweak it a little. That's why they changed the core principle of how the mods work and the damage numbers and all that work to try and make people more willing to go with it. The fact that so much of it just did nothing, or in a certain situation like a distance and close, so only like half your damage did anything, depending on whether you were 2 centimeters or 5 centimeters away from them. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they actually weren't going to change anything, except they saw other games doing their implementation that everyone just loved.
Tempering is a new system that allows you to really customize the gear that you find. In order to temper, you will need to go to the blacksmith and then choose the recipe that you wish to temper from, and then a random affix from that recipe will be attached onto your gear. Tempering recipes can be found from almost all of the content throughout Sanctuaries.
So you will actually be looking for tempering recipes that go directly with what you're envisioning. Maybe you're thinking, I'm going to play a frost sorceress. There are also going to be recipes that are more generic and maybe are just generally good for the sorceress, but you'll be able to choose which one you think is going to be most powerful with the build you're making for your class.
So instead of the legendary powers enabling stuff, that should enable it. And the particular type of character comes from the actual skills, not the weapon. Because you can't have the frost sorcerer doing cold damage when it's got fireball. It's got the snake thing. It's out of the top of my head. Because it doesn't convert the damage. So you would just waste an affix. Whereas other games, it would convert it into that damage. Now, I could be wrong. It could convert whatever your weapon does. Say it's a cold base weapon, but you're a fireball sork. Your wand is cold, so it converts it into cold damage. More than likely, at max, it would add X amount of cold damage to your fire skill. But more than likely, it will add 0 to your actual fireball. It will just go, oh, if you had chose this skill, you would do some more damage. So I don't think it's like Path of Exile, where you can convert a bunch of different damages into another type of damage, unless your passive tree actually says so.
We're making a pretty radical change to the Codex of Power in this season, based again on the...
I don't like how he said in this season. Now that just could be him making sure that it's not going to change until season 4. But if you listen, he deliberately said in this season.
the feedback that has been coming from our players.
Now, every single legendary in the game will be entered into your Codex of Power so that you can continually imprint the best possible version of that legendary onto your gear.
So going forward, there will no longer be carrying around all of these aspect crystals in your inventory. It's all going to be in the Codex of Power.
Well, you just filled up your stash, to be honest.
So part of the final system that we have is going to be greater affixes. What's a greater affix? Well, we want to keep it compelling that there are some drops that are even better than the others when you're trying to get the perfect build at endgame. Because of this, in World Tier 4, and only in World Tier 4, when an ancestral legendary item drops, there's a chance the affixes on it can roll as greater affixes. These will roll with bigger values that are normally available for that affix.
Greater affixes are fairly rare, but they're not impossible to find. While leveling up, you're going to be able to find upgrades much more easily with this new system.
Be interesting to see what numbers come out to how rare the greater affixes. And I know they got to point out that it can only be in World Tier 4, but ancestral legendaries, where else they can drop?
Another part of itemization is going to be masterwork. Now, this is something really intended for that very high end game, again, World Tier 4. This is where a player is going to take an item, already has the affixes that they want on it, but now they go through a process of upgrading those affixes, getting even higher values on them.
Masterworking really starts at level 100.
Hold on. So, what do we have? He went berserk. 10.
Already has the affixes that they want on it, but now they go through a process of upgrading those affixes, getting even higher value
to 14.
Masterworking really starts at level 100.
4% damage.
If you've already completed your build and found some of the best items, you're going to be able to test your build against the powerful enemies of the pit.
So everything they've added so far, that's not the codex stuff, is level 100 plus. Not exactly awesome for
endgame system that
everyone.
is added in this season that is going to challenge players that feel that they have largely maximized their build.
By pushing into more difficult tiers of the pit, you're going to be able to unlock rarer crafting materials to masterwork your gear even further.
You're going to have to play some of the hardest content in the game, but once you do, if you're successful, you can go and make those affixes even stronger.
Okay, what's the bet that within a week, those harder, unobtainable affixes, there's probably 5 or 6 broken builds that just totally destroy it. And all the top content creators are going, yawn. And then they're going to have to tweak it. Or nerf the hell out of Necros.
In season 4,
Again.
we're ramping the intensity of the Helltides through the inclusion of a variety of new activities. The first of which is a doubling down and rise of the cultists' presence throughout the tide. You're going to be running through the Helltide, seeing the cultists just conjuring up swarms and swarms of demons, adding to that sense of manic and chaos that they're pretty well known for. The other archetype that we're adding is the presence
So
of
greater rifts
who were unfortunate enough
in
caught
Diablo 3.
and basically just lost their minds to all of the mania going on around them. And lastly, rounding out the new activities are just the inclusion of the Iron Wolves. They're finally joining the fight. They could no longer stand in the sidelines, seeing the Helltides and Hell's forces intensify their assault on Sanctuary. As Season 4 players engage and progress through the Call of the Wolves seasonal activity, they'll earn honor with the Iron Wolves, unlocking access to a vast assortment of rewards to accompany and empower your Season 4 journeys. In the updated Helltide, for players who are able to stay alive long enough, they'll be paid a visit by the Hellborn, former heroes of Sanctuary who have aligned with the forces of Hell to attack the allies they once aligned with. Players who are able to take down the Hellborn will be acquiring the materials they need to engage with the new premier Helltide activity, the Accursed Rituals. Located in the Helltide, these Accursed Rituals are pretty much just botched rituals from the cultists that players will be kickstarting for themselves, drawing the attention of all the nearby Helltide monsters in this kind of all-out battle.
So Season of Blood mechanics. Well, considering it's the only season that people have had positive comments on, might as well steal as much from Season 2 as possible. So Greater Rifts are now Helltides. You run around, you're constantly fighting creatures until these guys turn up. Well, the guys before the ritual. You beat them up enough, more, you keep going. It's like an endless Greater Rift. You just keep fighting until the Helltide's over. When there's a lull, you find yourself one of these, spawn a bunch more of the things. So pretty much this is the pit, no, not the pit, the gauntlet in a Helltide with a ritual mechanics from Season of Blood. So we have stolen Diablo 3's Greater Rift mechanic of just slaughtering creatures in large numbers in a big area. Then you get the Season 2 mechanics again, without the Season 2 the blood bats and all that. The ritual and the guys popping up, Season 2 mechanic. So their idea is to just rehash old content that people didn't complain about. So Season 4 gets a good thing and people are happy and all that. Except most of their content they're adding is for level 100 plus characters.
One of my favorite themes for these ambushes is the Hellworm. It's literally
Suppose it'll keep the streamers happy.
slug beast that emerges from the ground and it spews out a whole bunch of mobs at you. If you're able to survive that, you'll be paid a visit from the Blood Maiden, our brand new Helltide mini boss and one of the ultimate challenges in the new experience.
So I think I'm actually most.
Obviously she's a new character, but I'm pretty sure she's like, the attacks looked like the Overlord. Or that other guy. That's similar, the big wings. You get him in a lot of the side quests where you gotta take out everyone.
Because of what you're able to do.
Melloc
with characters.
or something.
They can integrate with this new item game and take them to new levels of power with this system.
I think that the best part of this update is that you're going to be really empowered to build the character that you want to play. You're going to be able to pick custom affixes and enhance your character in a lot of new and interesting ways.
Okay, a lot of selling, which obviously they need to do as much of that as possible. So season 4, I don't know, the 30-second teaser trailer of Last Epoch left me about the same. Since, in my opinion, Last Epoch was in a better state than Diablo, because you log in, you play, you feel like you're able to progress, you reach a certain level, and then you hit the pointless to continue bit with all the damage reduction rubbish, which they better take out. Diablo 4, I don't see how you can feel like you're engaged with the battle. Like, you don't get the combat, I'm going to crush this creature. It's not intrigue, like, I don't know, intrigue's not the word. You're not invested in what your character's doing. With all this updates and stuff, I'm hoping that none of the behind the scenes server lag and all that's going to ruin it. As bad as PoE Necropolis was, I don't see the teaser trailer nor Diablo 4 Season 4 being a threat, even though PoE was so bad. And this is the second time a big company has missed the boat. Last Epoch totally trashed its launch because its behind the scenes coding was completely wrong. If they weren't OG members of Last Epoch that actually mucked it up, they probably would have been fired, and a good handful of people wouldn't have been around to share in all the millions. Diablo 4 and Blizzard and Microsoft knew how bad the launch for Necropolis was as far as PoE launches go. They could have had the biggest reboot they could have had, and I think they blew it. I think we're still going to say, it's a game. I'll play it when it comes out to check out the seasonal mechanic. Apart from that, I'll stick to what I like. Either Last Epoch, if it keeps building and completes itself, or Paths of Exile. I think the execs of all three companies should be fired, because each three have had a chance to really kick it out the gate, and they've failed one by one. Last Epoch failed its launch. on a fundamental reason. It wasn't because it was popular, it was a fundamental behind the scenes reason. Path of Exile, all they had to do was give people something to enjoy. Fail. Diablo 4. Give people something they will play and go, yeah, I'll stick with this, and maybe check out Last Epoch when it drops. But Path of Exile, season would end for him. Diablo 4, season would start. But I don't think anyone's going to play longer than about 2 weeks, maybe a bit longer, depending on how many people come back. Content creators will only play as long as people are interested. So the more people are interested, the longer they'll play, but I don't think they will voluntarily play unless they're a Diablo 4 main or a Diablo main. So yeah, I think all three companies, executives should be fired. And as far as the teaser trailer for Last Epoch, whoever signed off on that being the be-all and end-all to teasers before Diablo 4 launch should be fired as well. I think too many of them are clearly skating on the fact that there aren't that many games out there for people to play. So I'm going to play Diablo 4 Season 4. I don't expect it to be much better than the other seasons. Then I'm going to hopefully see a lot more teaser trailers come out for Last Epoch. If Diablo 4 Season 4 launches terribly, they had better launch a teaser trailer or a trailer that makes you want to quit Diablo 4 and play Last Epoch as soon as it drops. Because if they can't, then yeah, Last Epoch's going to die if they don't get their act together. Because so far they are failing almost everything they do, which is disappointing because I do like the game. Give your opinion, I gave mine, and I'll catch you next time.